you're looking at our CNC machine. It's an old Magnum Phoenix Magnum router that was manufactured some time ago, and it has been retrofitted with a Centroid controller that's in the far corner over there, and that is where we input our file to, and then it creates the communication between the controller and the CNC machine to run our file. What you're looking at is a spoil board where we have already cut out some stars for the HBA project. We have a 1/4 inch router bit inside the router, and we do not have vacuum hold down on our CNC machine, so the process I have to do to hold all these puzzle pieces down is to lay double stick tape, carpet tape, down where the puzzle pieces would fall. So that's what I'm going to spend the next few minutes doing. Because it gets to the point where there's nothing for the tape to stick to. Okay, the double stick tape is in place, and now I have to take my cabinet skin and lay it on. And it can be a difficult process because you have a pretty flimsy piece of sheet stock here. What I do is I get the left side lined up, and the best I can, and just lay it down. Make sure it's straight across on the bottom, straight on the side, and smooth it out on the double stick tape. And you get up here on the machine, get some weight on there. The last thing you want to do is have to recut. Now, if we had vacuum hold down, we could probably eliminate the whole double stick tape process, depending on how good of a system we have. Now you notice it's coming up right here, so I need to grab some tiny screws, and where my tool path is not going, I'll put the screws. If your bit hits a screw, it will probably damage the bit, and it will completely change all your puzzle pieces because it's changing the size of the puzzle. And we're going to zoom into the controller, and you can see it is now starting to boot up. Be very patient. If for some reason the screen doesn't boot up, come and get me right away. But as soon as that's up, we have to zero the machine. I still have to put some screws into our cabinet skin sheet laying there on the table, so I'll do that right now. And I just more or less guess where it's going to have to lay. And this should flash drive, and put that into our controller unit. Okay, so the USB flash drive, I've got it taped up. So far I haven't gotten one of the newer ones to work because most of them are for Windows Vista. So I'm using an older flash drive, and it has seen its day. It goes in right over here on the side. And the machine is asking us, it says press cycle start to start job or press cycle start to set machine home. We need to do that first. And before we ever jog the machine, so what we're looking at is this device right here, and also our router. Okay, our router needs to be all the way over, all the way up, and all the way back. And right now it is. If it wasn't, we'd not want to zero the machine out. Okay? So as we look at our little control handheld device here, all we have to do is press this green button, and now the screen flash and says machine home is set. Okay, now that the compressor is done, we're going to go ahead and do our program 0, grab your handheld, we're going to go hit increments off, which is the little red button, that should be off. Okay, now the machine will move, I'm going to hit Y minus, and control the speed right here, all the way down to this corner is where we want to go. Before you get to the end, slow down and slow the machine down. We don't want to break our machine. And just go nice and slow. Just tap it to the end. Once it gets there, go back to Y plus. Just one quick hit on the panel, and that will take some of the stress off the machine. Now we need to go down. Make sure you're not going fast. And slow it down some more. It's actually going to press the cabinet skin down. And as soon as it basically presses it to the spoil board, that should be good right there. We can now do our program 0. Okay, I've already zeroed the program out. However, I want to show you anyway, and so you know how to do it. Basically, this is the main menu. We've got F1 for setup, F2 for load, F3 MBI, F4 run, F5 cam, F6 edit, F7 utility, F8 graph, and so on. We use these hotkeys down here. It is not a touch screen. So even though it already shows all zeros, normally after we've positioned our tool where we want it to be for our program 0, these would have all kinds of different numbers in here, but I had already program 0'd it. But to do that, we would basically go to F1 and then hit part, F1 again. Now it says, do we want our x-axis to be zeroed out? And yes, we do, but we can go ahead and do it again. F10 would set it to all zeros. Go to the next axis, which would be Y. Do we want it to be 0? Yes, we do. It already is. We'll just do it for fun. F10, it's already set. Go to F1, which is now our Z-axis, and zero that out by hitting F10. As long as that says, we can make it any position we want it to, but we do want it to be 0. So F10 sets it. We're good to go. All right, now what we have to do is load our file that we created en route. So we go F2, which is load. Go to remote, which is our USB. So we're going to go F3 here now. And it's saved in our CAD CAM folder. So we arrow down to CAD CAM, enter. Arrow down to CNC files, enter. And basically, there's one more folder here called HBA. I want to actually escape out. I went too far. Let's go back to load, F2, F3 remote, CAD CAM, and then HBA file. There's a folder right here. You don't have to go into CNC files where we're saving our HBA folder. Okay? Hit enter for HBA. And you will see right here is a coast.ncc file and a coast.router file, which is our en route file. However, it's the NCC file that we want to load, so arrow down to that, hit enter, And because I already loaded it once, it's asking me, do I want to override it? Yes. You don't see anything here on the blue screen, but you do see coast.ncc. So all I have to do now is press the green button on my handheld, and it will load the G-code. So my handheld is right here, and hopefully you can see that. I'm going to press the green button, and voila, there is my G-code. We are now ready to run our part. If we hit that green button one more time, it's going to turn the router on and start manufacturing this part out. Okay, I'm going to move the camera out of the way, and we'll be ready to go. Okay, we're basically ready to press start. You notice as we run this, we don't have dust collection. We don't have vacuum pull down, so it's going to get quite dusty, so I've tried to move the camera back. I do have to press the green button to get this going. Just want to make a few last checks here. And sometimes I take a stick to help hold the part down if I think it's going to move, but don't get that stick close to the router bit because it will catch it and could drag your hand right into the bit. Sometimes I do sand a little bit as this process is going, just to save time later, or sometimes I even run a vacuum to eliminate some of the sawdust being created. Alright, it looks like we're ready to go. I kind of keep hold of the handheld for a minute or two to make sure we're not going to bust anything up. Alright, and I believe we're ready.